Yamazato Productions presents Japanese Swordsmanship, The Art of the Samurai, featuring Hanshi Ken Penland. Japanese swordsmanship, The Art of the Samurai, is a unique blend of art and spiritual discipline based on classical kenjutsu. Its roots lie deep in Japanese culture and the spirit of the bushi, or samurai warrior. Japanese swordsmanship originated over 1,000 years ago from kenjutsu, an earlier ancestral form of swordsmanship. Kenjutsu is the art of using real swords or live blades on the battlefield and traces its origins back to Japan's ancient martial culture. In fact, history records competitive bouts with swords were held as early as the Heian period from 794 to 1185 AD. Kenjutsu is primarily concerned with the techniques of using an unsheathed sword, and therefore its tactics are very aggressive. However, the sword is more than merely a weapon of war in Japanese cultural history. It is one of the three sacred objects of the imperial regalia, or Sanju no Jingi. It is a symbol of the imperial power of the emperor and has long been revered throughout Japan's turbulent history. In Japan, the first samurai swords, called tachi, were introduced in the Heian period, although straight-bladed Chinese-style swords were used prior to this period, along with bows, arrows, and spears. However, as cavalry became more widely used as tactical elements of warring armies, the tachi replaced the Chinese-style straight-bladed weapon. The tachi was longer, with a curved blade. This was to facilitate cutting downward at an enemy while on horseback. The tachi was worn edge down at a samurai's side while mounted. This was during the reign of the Fujiwara clan, who were regents to the emperors of Japan at that time. Later, as close-quarter combat replaced cavalry methods, swords were shortened and the katana was developed. As the Ashikaga shogunate, which lasted from 1338 until 1500, came to a close, Japan again entered into a period of continual warfare. The Onin Wars, from 1467 until 1477, marked the beginning of 100 years of civil strife. It is during this period that the numerous schools and styles of swordsmanship developed. Formerly, the term kenjutsu was used to denote the art of swordsmanship on the battlefield. This term implied the sword was already drawn and ready to apply techniques. The modern term kendo, or the way of the sword, is derived from kenjutsu. The term batojutsu was also used in this period to denote swordsmanship. Bato literally means an unsheathed sword and referred to drawing and cutting. Around this same time, the term iaijutsu came into use to refer to swordsmanship. Iaijutsu means the art of quick draw. Drawing the sword quickly and cutting an enemy in one motion is the essence of this technique. The idea was to be able to respond to a surprise attack or an ambush. The modern term for this art is iaido. This videotape features kata, or forms, from the various sword styles of iaijutsu, including Eshin-ryu and Omori-ryu. Additionally, the reality of training in swordsmanship is that there are really three critical areas in which training is necessary to become a complete swordsman. The first is training in techniques of attack and defense, and engaging in actual keiko, or freestyle sparring practice to develop timing, distance, and other innate combative skills. This is accomplished in modern kendo. The second is training in kata to perfect techniques and the proper form. The third is tameshigiri, or performing actual test cutting on a target such as bamboo or tatami. Tameshigiri practice teaches the actual feeling of cutting, and hasuji, or the proper angle of engagement in order to make an effective cut. It is necessary to engage in all three types of practice to fully develop as a swordsman. Sensei Ken Penlin will now demonstrate the fundamentals of swordsmanship and the kata of the various sword styles.
Kata no kamai. Chudan no kamai. Geidan no kamai. Waki no kamai. Ushiro no kamai. Hasso no kamai. Inyo no kamai. Jodan no kamai. Chudan no kamai. Geidan no kamai. Waki no kamai. Ushiro no kamai. Hasso no kamai. Inyo no kamai. Jodan no kamai. Kata no kamai. Chudan no kamai. Geidan no kamai. Waki no kamai. Ushiro no kamai. Hasso no kamai. Inyo no kamai. Jodan no kamai. Chudan no kamai. Geidan no kamai. Waki no kamai. Ushiro no kamai. Hasso no kamai. Inyo no kamai. Jodan no kamai. Lower guard. Shomanuchi. Dari men. Migi men. Middle guard. Dari kote. Migi kote. Dari men. Migi men. Jodan no kamai, upper guard position. Kiriyagi. Kisagiri. Ski. Yoko ski. Full guard. Noto. Kamai igiri kata. Yusuke, Chudan no kamai. Morote ski, Geidan no kamai. Yoko ski, Waki no kamai. Kiriyagi, Hasso no kamai. Kisagiri, Ushiro no kamai. Yoko giri. Jodan no kamai. Shinjuto giri. Mai igiri. Escape. Chudan no kamai. Morote ski. Geidan no kamai. Yoko ski. Waki no kamai. Miyagi. Hasso no kamai. Kisagiri. Ushiro no kamai. Yoko giri. Jodan no kamai. Shinjudo. Amoreru, Seiza Wazo, Shoden Kata. First kata, Seiza Mae. Aisa. Second kata, Seiza Migi. Aisa. Third kata, Seiza Hidari. Aisa. Fourth kata, Ushiro. Aisa. Fifth kata, Yagaki Omote. Aisa. Ais. Sixth kata, Yagaki Ura. Aisa. Aisa. Fifth kata, Yagaki Omote. Nikusuke. Kiriyoroshi. Kochimori. Gedan Barai. Kiriyoroshi. Ochimori. Noto. Fifth kata again, Yagaki Omote. Nukisuke. Kiriyoroshi. Kochimori. Gedan Barai. Kiriyoroshi. Ochimori. Noto. Chichidachi. Sixth kata, Yagaki Ura. Nukisuke. Kiriyoroshi. Kochiburi. Kiriage. Kiriyoroshi. Ochiburi. Noto. Six kata again from the side. Yagaki Uro. Nikusuke. Kiriyoroshi. Kochiburi. Ojibwe, Noto, Amoreru Seiza Waza, Shurien Gata, first Gata, Ruto, same kata ruto at a slower speed. Aisa! Second kata, junto. Aisa! Same kata, junto at a slower speed. Junto, again, at a much slower speed. Gyakuto. Aisa! Gyakuto again at a much slower speed. Aisa! Next kata, Shinchuto, moonbeam strike. Aisa! Same kata, much lower, Shinchuto. Oisa. Next kata, oikaze. Oisa. Same kata at a much slower speed. Oisa. Next kata, Nukiuchi, sudden draw. Oisa. Same kata at a much slower speed, Nukiuchi. Bato ho nobu, shorin kata. First kata, junto sonoichi. Oisa. Same kata, junto sonoichi, at a much slower speed. Oisa. Junto sono ni. Oisa. Same kata, a little slower. Junto sono ni. Oisa. Third kata, suige kito, pursuing sword. Oisa. Same kata, a little slower, suige kito. Oisa. Fourth kata, shato, angular sword. Same kata, shato, angular sword, a little slower. Oisa. Next kata, Shihoto Sonoichi. Oisa, oisa, oisa. Same kata, Shihoto Sonoichi, four-way strike, much slower. Oisa, oisa, oisa. Next kata, Shihoto Sono Ni. Same kata, much slower, Shihoto Sono Ni. Oisa, oisa, oisa. Next kata, Zanto Suto. Usa, oisa. Same kata, a little slower, Zanto Suto. Oisa, oisa. Bato hono lu juden level kata, first kata, Zenteki Gyakuto. Oisa! Same kata at a much slower pace. Senteki Gyakuto. Oisa. Oisa. Next kata, multi-directional cut, ta teki to. Oisa, oisa, oisa. Same kata at a much slower pace. Ta teki to. Oisa. 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 Next kata, koteki gyakuto. Oisa, oisa. Same kind of much slower pace. Teki Gyakuto. Oisa. Oisa. Again, Koteki Gyakuto from the side. Oisa. Oisa. Next kata, Koteki Huge. Oisa. Oisa. Same kata again at a much slower pace. Koteki Nukiuchi. Oisa. Oisa. Same kata again, once more from the side. Koteki no Yuchi. Oisa. 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 Same thing again, behind. Much slower speed. Right. Oisa. Filming again at a much slower speed. Right? Right. Oisa. Okay, Nagashi. Right? Right. Oisa. Again in a much slower speed. Nagashi. Right? Right. Sorry. Oisa. Okay, come in. Oisa. Same technique, a little slower. Okay, go in. Okay. Right. Reach. Sun. Go. Oisa.
Hello, I'm George Alexander. I'm going to be your instructor for the Tameshigiri, the test cutting part on this video. First of all, I'd like to bring you up to date on a couple of techniques that we need to know. One is, you saw Hanshi Penlin demonstrating the kata, the various kata and so forth, but some of the details that I'd like you to be familiar with are number one, nuki-ski, making sure that you know how to draw a real sword safely, all right? So what happens when you perform that operation is, number one, you push against the suba or sword guard with your thumb, like this, and then rotate the saya out at the same time. What's critical about that is that when you go to draw your sword, that you drop your thumb over onto the saya first, or simultaneously, so that you don't cut your thumb. If you leave your thumb up like this, there's a danger that you can cut yourself. All right, so that's important. So you want to make sure that you can take your thumb and push out against the suba like this and rotate the saya at the same time. Okay, if you'll do that and get in the habit of dropping your thumb as you do nuki-ski or draw your sword, you'll never cut your thumb off. Okay, now let's talk about something else. Next thing is noto, how to put the sword away. That's equally as important. All right, so what happens is after you draw your sword, when you go to put it away, noto, or sheathing the sword, the way you're going to do that is take your thumb and index finger and press against the koeguchi, which is the end of the saya or scabbard here. Okay, that lets you know where your thumb and index finger are at all times. Then you take the back of the sword and draw through. Let the kisaki, or the tip of the sword, just drop into the saya and put it away like that. Right now. You know, that way, that'll keep you safe on knowing how to do the details of those two little things before we get into actually cutting something. Next thing is, let's talk about what's called teimoto, or the grip. Now, when you hold your sword, the way I want you to hold it is have your left hand right like this and then wrap it around. In modern kendo, they put it here and then go like that and let the little finger come off the end. For what we're going to do, that's how to use a shinai and so forth. I want you to slide up this way so that you can get a very good grip on your sword. Your right hand goes up firmly against the tsuba like that and has a nice tight grip. So if we're actually cutting, you've got to have a grip that will withstand some impact. Again, that's called teimoto, so that you have a good grip. Now, let's talk about cutting just a little bit. The sword is a very efficient cutting machine. The curvature of the blade is what helps it to cut. Now, from experience, it's known that if you take the sword and press it down against a body or an arm or something, and if you just press down, usually it won't cut. However, if you, with the same amount of pressure, if you make a slight pushing action or pulling action, it'll cut instantly. So that's what actually makes the blade cut. And that's the reason why the sword is curved, to facilitate that cutting or slicing action, which produces a perfect cut. Okay? So it's not difficult to cut. This is a 3-foot razor blade. It's really not difficult to cut anything with this. But that brings us to the next thing that we want to talk about, which is called hasuji, or the angle of engagement. Okay, hasuji, what that means is, as you're cutting, a way of defining this or looking at this is, as you're cutting, what's happening is you want the angle of your blade to be in the same angle that the trajectory of the sword is in, right? So in other words, if we're cutting down, let's say like this, if we're doing kesagiri like that and cutting down, what's happening is, if I have my sword rotated outboard this way a bit too much, as it hits the target, it'll act like a ricochet. It won't have a straight path through the target because the blade is canted in an angle other than the direction of the trajectory of the sword, right? So it'll cup and it'll come out like that, a little bit dangerous. Okay? Conversely, if the sword is rotated out a little bit too far that way, all right, that will also bounce off a ricochet, and that's an area where it could be dangerous. So before you cut anything also, make sure that you practice quite a bit with a wooden sword, all your basic cuts and so forth, so that you build up some skill level before we begin to actually test cut something. Let's see. The cuts that I want to teach you, things you already know. Kesagiri number 1, the lapel cut. Raising up like this, cutting down on a 30-degree angle like that. Okay? So this way, if you're cutting down like that, that's a lapel cut, kesagiri. For actually cutting, if you'll bring the sword like this and then withdraw your left hand towards your hip at the end, you'll see that that will also help facilitate cutting with the blade a little bit. Kesagiri, kiriage is the other one. This is cutting up, taking your sword like this and actually cutting up like that. Sometimes called the scapular cut, right? Kiriage, okay? That's a difficult cut. That does require some practice to get that under control, but we're going to achieve all that. Last one is yogogiri. This is just simply coming from back here and cutting straight to the front like that. So you're on a horizontal plane with your sword as you're cutting. So those 3 basic cuts are what we're going to work with for Temeshigiri practice. Now, there are 6 techniques that we're going to incorporate the basic cuts into that I'm going to show you. This is what we're going to use to test cut with. The first one is to start off in Jodan Kamai, like that, upper level posture. Okay? What you're going to do, you're going to be in somewhat of a high stance. You're going to take your left foot and drop back and cut at the same time. Just like that, all right? So this is how you're going to practice safely, very beginning style this way, and just cut down like that. Kesagiri. Okay, next way to practice. After we have a little bit, and take your bokken, by the way, and work on these techniques. Your wooden sword, your practice sword. Next thing is, we're going to practice Kesagiri the same way, but now we're going to start from Chudan, raise up, no footwork, a little bit of hips, and then cut like that, all right? This way, and just cut. And next way to do Kesagiri. Number 3. This time, let's take the right foot back, and we're going to put the sword in haso no gamai, like that. And what's going to happen is we're going to take a step forward with the right foot, raise your sword to jodan through the course of the motion or the action, and cut like that, right? So you come back here like this, haso no gamai, right foot back, take a step now, come to jodan and cut through like that. Right? That's your third technique. Next one is kiriage, or upward cut. And the way I want you to practice this is, start from here, draw back to waki no gamai. Okay, waki no gamai, this posture like that, right foot back. As you step through, bring your sword, cut up like that. Right? So, back to here, step through, and cut up like that. Okay? That's kiriage. That's how you're going to practice that one. Let's see. Next one, yokogiri. Yokogiri. The way I want you to do that is, start from your basic kamai like this, step back with the right foot. You're going to be in ushiro no gamai this time. Ushiro no gamai, which means your sword is to the back. Hopefully you can't see the length of my sword. That's one of the reasons that we use this posture. It's hidden. You can't tell the length of the sword. But what we're going to do for our cutting is to step forward and just cut horizontally like that. So step forward and just cut like this. All right, so from the side, same thing. Ushiro no gamai, step in and just cut like that. Okay? Now, so the last thing we want to do is to work a combination. So we're going to take the 3 cuts and put them together in a combination. And that's what we're going to actually test cut a target doing this. So the way you're going to do this one is, start with your sword like this, right foot forward. Step back with your right foot, start and shoot on like this. Step forward, kesagiri, turn the sword over, kiriage, step up, yokogiri like that. That's your combination that you're going to use. Okay? So, one more time. Start off this way. Step back. Now prepare to step in. Step in, kesagiri. Turn the sword over, kiriage. Step up, yokogiri like that. Now, on kiriage in combination, think about this. As you step in and cut, turn your sword over as much as you can before you begin the second motion. Because what happens if you don't do that and you try to correct en route, you can see that's the problem with your hasuji. Your angled engagement on the second cut may not be correct. Now, one last thing before we start to cut something. Here's another safety rule that's very important. When you cut, either if you start with your right foot forward and cut kesagiri like this, step back to haso no gamai, and step forward and cut, what I'd like you to do is always cut away from the lead leg. In other words, cut like that. If you cut the other way and you hit the target incorrectly and there's a ricochet, there is a danger that you could cut your lead foot. Or if this leg is forward, my left leg, and I cut this way and hit the target, there's a ricochet, there's a possibility I could hit my leg or my foot or knee or something. So, for safety's sake, right foot forward, cut away like this. Or if the left leg is forward, cut away like that. Okay, and that'll keep you safe and keep you from avoiding injury. All right, stay with us. We're going to cut some stuff next. We have a target set up here, which is just basically some bamboo inside of some straw matting. And so that's what we're going to use as our target. First of all, our first technique, if you recall, start from jodan kamai, up like this. Step back with the left foot as you cut down. You start from chudan, and we're going to do the same thing. So now we're going to, from chudan, or middle level guard position, raise up, and then cut kesagiri like that. All right, so here we go. Okay, we lose our target that time. Next, let's try step back. The right foot is back. You're going to start from haso no gamai like this. And now we step forward and then cut like this. That's our third technique. We have another target here, and now we're going to try kiriage, cutting up. So start from waki no gamae, this, step forward, and then just cut up. Like I told you, it's not difficult to cut. It does require some precision and practice on your part, so. Okay, Yokogiri. Now, next we're going to work on our combination technique. So, that concludes our Tameshigiri practice with the katana. Remember, practice safely, use some caution, follow the guidelines I gave you for safe practice, and you'll do well. For Yamazato Productions, I'm George Alexander. Thank you for watching.